All right, man. Peace. So this is a story that I've been meaning to cover for the last couple of weeks. Brief announcement, just being able to do it. But I thought it was very important, especially for so-called black men, to be analyzed, especially when it comes to the treatment of how they are put in these crazy situations in America, especially the whole entire thing that happened last week with the beloved so-called black man who was executed. Um, Headlock style, or being choked out on an MTA subway train in Manhattan, New York. This is also something that I also want to talk about and bring to the attention of the beloved so-called black man, regardless of wrongdoing or things that he needs to be accountable for when it comes to his actions. What am I talking about? It was said that there was a black man who had died from being involved in filthy conditions with inside an Atlanta jail cell. And so he had died by a lot of bites, a lot of bed bug bites and bug bites inside of his cell. So much so that a lot of the correctional officers and people inside the jail did nothing more but neglect the situation. So the reason why this video is important is to also analyze a lot of the jail cell systems, the correctional facilities in the United States, and their long withstanding history of mistreatment of so-called black men. This being one of the cases that's out there, but there's many more that in the past, so-called black men have been calling out for help in these jail cells about how they didn't have things like proper shelter or didn't have the proper heating, probably almost froze to death or different things. Later down the line, I'm going to be doing an analysis and I'm going to be showing you a brief history of the mistreatment of so-called black men in particular in these jail cells. But for now, we're going to be going over this case today and checking it out. So, Pete.
News First starts now.
You would not wish it on anyone. A family says a man was found dead, covered in bugs inside his Fulton County jail cell. I'm Sean Gables.
And I'm Rick Fulbaum. And tonight, new at 6, his attorney argues he got no medical help leading up to his death. Just look at where Lashawn Thompson was allegedly sleeping. This deteriorating cell in the jail's psychiatric wing. And we're told.
Now, what's to be said about the situation as well is that this man was in his cell. They had found him days or weeks later, dead. And because of the conditions that it was said, even the medical examiner had a tough time wanting to go ahead and perform something like CPR or try to resuscitate him because he was too far gone. And just because of the way he looked, they didn't want to do anything about it. And this extracts the point that, especially when it comes to the correctional facilities and stuff like that, as much as it is in the United States, when it comes to the so-called black man, they do not give a shit about the so-called black man. Treat him like dirt. You understand? And of course, I will always advise us as so-called black men, we definitely have to make sure that we're doing our best. We're putting our best foot forward. We're not going to commit crimes out here. We're going to do better, and we're going to make sure that we're on the right path. But of course, if there's dudes in prisons, say myself, no man, especially so-called black men, has to live in these type of conditions. Everybody should be treated fair at the end of the day.
Told that Lashawn Thompson suffered from mental health issues.
Atlanta News First reporter Zach Summers live at the Fulton County. There, Zach, you just learned from Thompson's attorney. Those images are disturbing.
Yeah, the lawyer representing the family of Lashawn Thompson tells me this is one of the most inhumane inmate deaths he has ever encountered. The family wants the public to see the poor conditions they say their loved one endured while here at the Fulton County Jail, but we must warn you, some of the images are graphic.
It's just unbelievable.
The image is hard to look at. 35-year-old Lashawn Thompson unresponsive in a Fulton County jail cell, covered in what his family's attorney says are insect and bedbug bites.
The scene was so horrific that the detention officer said she would not even administer CPR when they found him because she was freaked out. In her words, freaked out by the scene.
Thompson was arrested for misdemeanor battery in June of 2022. Attorney Michael Harper says the inmate was placed in the psychiatric wing of the jail where he remained for 3 months.
No one really checked on him. We have some records from the jail showing that they saw he was deteriorating from the medical staff and from detention officers.
Thompson was found.
And you see that right there? That lets you know that it was negligence and why they didn't chose to not do anything, especially when it came to him. If they knew that he was deteriorating, how come they didn't start to do some type of thing where they can get people involved to treat the situation? It doesn't make any sense.
Dead inside his cell on September 13th, 2022. An autopsy showed no signs of trauma. While his death is listed as undetermined, the medical examiner noted a severe bed bug infestation.
It looks like it had been there for months, and no one cared. No one cleaned it up. No one did anything, apparently.
Pictures from inside Thompson's cell show deplorable conditions. The room covered in filth, Harper says, unfit for even a dog.
No one should live in those conditions, whether you're charged with a crime or not.
Thompson's family now calling for accountability. They want the jail shut down and replaced, and a full criminal investigation into their loved one's death.
It's a big ask, we understand that. But you have to make the conditions better to avoid this from happening to someone else.
That's the end of the video. Give me your thoughts in the comment section. Remember to like, share, subscribe. And just one thing that we should have a conversation about is the mistreatment, especially of so-called Black men in these type of facilities. What do you think should have been done? Let me know in the comment section. All right, man. Peace.